In this video, we will be going over the answers to Lesson 6, Select an Appropriate Display. You can find this lesson on pages 913 and 914 in your independent practice booklet. Question number 1. Which display makes it easier to compare the maximum speeds of Top Thrill dragsters and Millennium Force? Justify your reasoning. Both graphs are graphing the same information. We have the fastest steel roller coasters as our title for both of our graphs. Now, the one is a histogram, and if you remember, the histogram doesn't show any individual data. It just shows how data falls in a range of intervals. So I'm going to take a look at the graph, the histogram graph. All we know here is that 4 roller coasters are between 81 and 90 miles per hour, and 2 roller coasters are between 91 and 100, and 1 roller coaster is between 101 and 110, and then another is between 111 and 120. So, for example, this one roller coaster, I don't know what its exact speed is. I do know that it's faster than any of the others, okay, but I don't know the name of the roller coaster or any other information about it. The graph on the right is a bar chart or a bar graph, and I can see the individual names of every single roller coaster and how fast each roller coaster travels. And so I can easily see that the Top Thrill dragster is the fastest, and it looks like Phantom's Revenge might be the slowest. I don't know, this one Accelerator might also be. They're pretty close on the graph. The bar graph shows the maximum speeds, not just the interval in which the data occurs. Select an appropriate type of display for data gathered about each situation. Justify your reasoning. Select an appropriate type of display for data gathered about each situation. Justify your reasoning. A line plot. The display can show individual scores. A line plot is a good graph to show the scores on a test because each test score is shown. For example, here we have a class. They all did very well. They all had 90s and above, but each and every score is represented. Question 3, the median age of people who voted in an election. Box plot. A box plot easily displays the median. When you have a box plot, the middle line is the median right here. Okay. Remember, this is the lower extreme. This is the upper extreme. This is quartile 1, this is quartile 2, this is quartile 3, and quartile 2 is the median. A box and whisker plot is the only graph that clearly identifies the median. Use math tools. Select and make an appropriate type of display for the situation. You could have drawn a bar graph. If you did, it would look something like this. Question 5. Use math tools. Use the internet or another source to find a set of data that is displayed in a bar graph, line graph, frequency table, or circle graph. Was the most appropriate type of display used? What other ways might these same data be displayed? Here are two different graphs. They're graphing the same exact thing. Number of apps on your phone. So 20 people were surveyed and their information was gathered. Which graph shows the information better? Well, obviously it is going to be the one on the right, the bar graph. And this is because a line graph shows change over time. A bar graph, on the other hand, is clearly showing the amount of apps each person has. Question number 7. Display the data in the bar graph using another type of display. Compare the advantages of each display. We can create a line plot for the data as well. Question 8. Construct an argument. Determine whether the following statement is true or false. If true, explain your reasoning. If false, give a counterexample. Any set of data can be displayed using a line graph. False. To compare the price of 5 different cell phones, a line graph would not be appropriate because these data do not show change over a period of time. Question number 9. Persevere with problems. Which type of display allows you to easily find the mode of the data set? Explain your reasoning. Line plot. You can easily locate the values with the most X's to find the mode. Question 10. The table shows the number of each type of plant at a botanical garden. The director of the garden would like to add cacti, so the relative frequency of the plant is 50%. How many cactus plants should the director add? Right now, there are 18 cactus plants. We want the relative frequency to be 50% for the cactus plants. So this means that the cactus plants need to represent 50% of the data. We're going to find the total right now of all of the plants. So we have 13 plus 18 plus 4 plus 15 equals 50. And cactus plants represent 18 out of 50. 18 divided by 50 equals 36% of the plants. This is a challenge question, that's why it's a hot problem. If I have to keep adding plants for it to be 15. But what I need you to realize is that when you add more plants, the total also changes. All right? So if I added 10 plants to this, then that means it would be 28. But then this would be, because I added 10, this would be 60. So 28 divided by 60 gives me 46%. All right, so now instead of adding 10, let's add 14. And that's a 4, not a 9. 14. So 18 plus 14 equals 32. And 50 plus 14, because we added 14 more, equals 64. And 32 divided by 64 equals 50%. So the answer is 14 cactus plants. Thank you for learning with me today. This concludes our lesson, and this is Mrs. Smith signing off.